Hello, and thanks for dropping in once again to the Running Behind podcast. I'm Joey Metzger, and today is another special episode of Crew Access with my buddies Erik and Mario. Today, we recap some of our recent race attempts, Mario's Continental Divide 50K, my Mammoth 50K, and Erik's Twin City 10 Mile, where the rumor is he tried to catch up to a Courtney Dauwalter who was running the marathon. And just to add a little spice, we decided to do this Boulder Boys style. We recorded this live in my backyard, having some burgers and beer. And yeah, the audio quality might not be perfect, but you just can't pass up an opportunity to do this in person. So, strap on those Mount to Coast H1s, grab a vest, and let's get ready for a little crew access talk.
Are we live streaming? No.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think we want to live stream, do we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're recording. I think we're recording. We're in my backyard. Erik just finished running the Twin Cities 10-mile race. And we figured, well, let's just get together, have some burgers and beer, and sit around and bullshit and see what we've all been up to.
A lot.
Yeah. We might get some wind noise. We might get some background noise, and I'll do the best I can to fix this. But it's Boulder Boy style.
Exactly.
They don't give a shit, and they don't have, that's. Oh, we might get some neighbor
live
sawing.
and uncut.
Yeah, cutting down trees.
This is real life. There's construction.
It's real life. There's construction. So hopefully you can hear us. I'll adjust the audio later. But yeah, Boulder Boys, rarely do they have notes.
No.
And if they do, it's very minimal.
Yeah. I think Seth just runs it through like ChatGPT to edit it or something.
Is he really?
He uses some kind of AI platform. I don't know.
A lot of these recording platforms like this, I use Riverside FM. They have so much AI built into them.
Yeah.
Like I did one with Joe Harden, and we couldn't do video because we were having a bad connection. AI just came in and made like cartoon videos.
Oh, that's why you had those cartoon videos?
Yeah, because there was enough of a camera shot early on where it reconstructed our faces, and then it just comes in and does cartoon, images.
That's great. I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's scary. It's also like super exciting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what everybody's got on today. Erik's got on if you see a video of this, he's got on the Running Behind shirts.
The polo.
Don't ask me. You have to be like on the podcast and be a member of Crew Access to get one of those, right, boys?
For now.
And Alter Ego hat.
Yep.
Nice. Mario, what do you got on for gear today?
I got my Alter Ego hat and my cheap knockoff Viper sunglasses.
Nice.
And then I got my Continental Divide Trail Run.
Continental Divide Trail Run shirt. So we each have a race to talk about. Some of us completed our races. Some of us completed some of our races. And some did not finish their race at the top of the mountain. Which race should we talk about first? Should we start with Mario since his was the first in chronological order? So how long ago was the race? It's the Continental Divide 50K, right?
Yeah, so the Continental Divide Trail Run 50K in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. The race starts at 6,800 feet. Goes up and over Mount Werner at 10,410 feet, out to Long Lake Dam Reservoir, and then you come back down the mountain.
What city are you in?
Steamboat Springs,
Colorado. Isn't it funny, guys, how like when you're having to climb over one of these effing mountains, you know exactly, it's not 10,400 feet, folks. It's 10,410 and a half feet. Like I will tell you that, Mammoth Mountain is 11,053 feet. You know exactly when you have to climb over it, don't we?
Well, you're climbing to get to that number, and that was the goal, was just to get to. So it's a tight cutoff. It's a 50K. The overall distance actually ended up being like 30.5 miles, so it wasn't a full 31.
It's 50K,
miles.
folks.
It was a 50K,
Yeah,
50K mountain race.
Yeah.
And my first race at elevation. I've never done a race at elevation like that before, so it was cool.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to record this 2 ways, so
Oh,
we'll keep going. But this, I don't know if it'll be better quality or not. But this is actually records locally. I don't need the computer.
Yeah.
So I'm recording it both ways, on the computer
gotcha.
and locally on an SD card
Gotcha.
on the device. Sorry. So you were saying Continental Divide 50K. What is the cutoff for that?
It's a 9-hour cutoff at the finish.
Okay.
The first time cutoff
9
is at
hours.
7 hours at the Mount Werner aid station when you're coming back. So that's at mile 22. You have to be on your way back down. And so we weren't quite chasing cutoffs, but we were very conservative in the beginning, and we're about, I think we finished the race in 8 hours and 10 minutes, 8 hours, 11 minutes, right around there. And we weren't chasing cutoffs, but we had about an hour, 50 minutes once we got back to Mount Werner to keep going and make it to the finish line.
Well, technically, we're all chasing cutoffs. Some of us are just faster at chasing than others, right? So, Erik, if I told you you're going to run a 50K, but you had 9 hours to do it, how would you feel about that?
It would depend on the profile. I don't know that I'd be able at elevation doing it.
Yeah, same. If it was Fire Tower 50K, mind you, I did that one. That's all flat, guys, which they did this weekend. And
They did.
I want to go back there. I like Jameson a lot. I love that area, that race.
Shout out to Mandy. She did the 35K and finished strong in a pretty hot day.
Nice. But that race is flat, guys, and I had a good day, and I finished in 8 hours and 15 minutes. 9 hours, and you're climbing 5,000 plus feet of total climbing, right?
3,300 feet in the first 8.2 miles.
Oh my God.
Well, we're basically done by then.
Right?
It felt that way until it didn't. So once you get up and over Mount Werner, it kind of goes on to like a single track trail, and it feels very Superior Hiking Trail-esque. Single track.
When you say Superior Hiking Trail-esque, do you mean like lots of ruts?
Yes.
And mud and...
Not real mountain climbing hills, more short, punchy, steep, rocky, rooty.
So not like scrambling over rocks like I was up Mammoth, more, wooded trail.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful country. And at that point, it was all up and over 10,000 feet. And one thing I didn't take into account is it's an out and back from that spot. And so when you're on your way out, the leaders are coming back through. And so every time they would come through, they were moving, either chasing personal records. Me and Luke were just trying to finish. So we would always step off to the side of the trail to be respectful. And every time I did that, my foot would land and contort in a way that hadn't been natural or that I hadn't done yet. And so I was dealing with some cramping and other issues that I hadn't anticipated.
You didn't train for stepping up the trail, I take it?
I didn't. I did not plan to stop and
wasn't part of your training, right?
Take out, and step off the side of the trail. I also didn't train with poles, but I'm thankful that I brought them. That was one thing that I was wavering on whether to or not to bring them. I opted to bring them. They're cheap Fleet Farm backcountry aluminum poles that are heavy, but they're poles. And I didn't train with them, so that's.
But you still are glad you brought them.
100%. Well, it's and actually, I think it was Jason Reeve on Strava who had said you'd rather bring them and not need them than need them and not have them.
Yeah.
And so I brought them with reluctantly, and I used them the entire time. They were out and useful and saved me from at least a half a dozen falls. Truthfully,
they say, absolutely. They saved me from falls, especially going on downhills. They come in so handy.
Yes,
to keep myself from falling. Yeah, and I think, for ordinary people like us, poles are great. If you're an elite athlete, maybe they'll slow you down, but not for people like us. How did you carry them? How did you stow them when you weren't using them?
Honestly, I used them about 90% of the time.
Oh, so they were always out.
They were always out. They were always part of my rhythm, part of my routine. They're just the collapsible ones. They don't, come out and they don't fold down to about a foot. They fold down to about 1.5 feet. Okay. They just telescopically shrink down. And I didn't have a quiver or a way to hold them. So they were, quite honestly, in one hand or the other, both.
All the time.
Yeah, for the entire run.
I do like I've got the quiver. I do like that if I'm and this is part of my problem, is I'm filming, I'm taking my camera out, drinking something, eating something, or as Eric, saw firsthand, I'm trying to find my effing iPhone at the aid station, taking my pack apart. So I like to have a quiver to hold them in, but yeah, sometimes if I'm just doing runs, I just hold them in my hands while I'm running, and then I get to the hill. And
one thing Luke had mentioned, and this isn't necessarily pole related, but just
for Madonna in Manhattan, Tracy in Wisconsin, Luke is
my brother. He's the one
lives in Colorado
Springs. So even to get to Steamboat Springs where the race was, it was kind of a road trip for him. Yeah. So it was kind of a destination vacation, and it was his first 50K ultra, first true ultra marathon. So that was cool to do that with him. But one thing that he mentioned during the run is when we do our training runs, we do a 20-mile long training run, we're carrying all of our nutrition, all of our gear for the entire 20 miles. When you go into a race and there's aid stations, they have food, they have water, they have electrolytes, they have all the things that you'll need. So you don't need to carry 20 miles worth of nutrition and stuff with you. And so we had trained with it, so we started with it. And I think Luke came back with 85% of his nutrition because he just ate aid station food, and I came back with more than I had planned.
That's what usually happens with me too, is I come back with all my stuff because I eat at the aid stations. When we get to Mammoth, I'll tell you it was not the case. The one aid station where I could have actually ate is the one that they were tearing down 13 minutes before I got there. So your brother Luke, this is his first 50K. He lives at altitude, so altitude, he's not worried about this probably, right?
Yes and no. No, because most of his runs, he gets quite a bit of elevation. Just being, where he lives, he gets a couple 100 feet of elevation on a 400 or on a 4-mile run. He'll get 400 feet of elevation or so. For me, I have to do quite a few loops or find the hills to get that amount. I don't have that just readily available, but because most of the race from that mile 8 all the way back to mile 22 is at 10,000 or above 10,000 feet, it's different. He's at 6,000 feet, but once you get up and over that 9,000 foot mark, I think that's kind of it's where the air is just a little thinner, and so your recovery that you get from that I would typically get from like a walking pace, I just didn't have. So that recharge took a lot longer, and so we finished in 8 hours and 10 minutes.
That just blows my mind.
It was 10 minutes slower than our goal time, but our goal was just to finish and to finish before that 9-hour cutoff at the finish line. So, it was a fun day, a lot of learning experiences about running at elevation, and then just that much climbing. I also didn't have the training block that I would have liked to have for a race like that, but those are just
what
things.
Did you do? Did you come up with a training schedule, or you just weren't able to stick to it due to work and
I was working a lot of hours in the summer months. My family has a lot of birthdays. Both my wife and I have birthdays in June. My father-in-law and my son are in July. And then there's Father's Day in there, 4th of July, and there's lots happening. And so I didn't have the training build-up that I would have liked, mostly because of a crazy work schedule. But
if you would have had the time, everything in a perfect world, what would you have done for a training block?
I would have probably liked to have at least 7 hours of running or time on feet each week.
Certain amount of elevation gain or anything?
Yeah, and it would have mostly focused on climbing, on elevation gain, and not even running uphill, just walking uphill, because that was most of that first 8.2 miles. Actually, it's funny, we started running and you kind of follow the crowd right away. Yeah. You always get sucked into it, and so I'm jogging a little bit, and Luke and I are both kind of jogging, and then everyone kind of stops where it funnels around a turn, and so we started walking, and then everyone else started jogging, and I kind of started jogging, and I looked back at Luke, and he was just power hiking. And I look at him, and I gave him the nod, hey, let's go. And he looked at me and just shook his head, no. That's not the plan. So we walked, probably 90. We only ran maybe a quarter mile, half a mile total in that first 8 miles. Yeah. Just because it was up ski resort
Yeah.
roads.
Yep.
The running, I don't think, would have been any more efficient
Yeah.
than what we were working on. So
And that, Eric, you were saying that course is the same one as Run Rabbit Run?
I don't know if it's entirely the same, but it has a lot of overlap.
Has a lot of overlap?
Yep.
Okay. Run Rabbit Run is 100 mile and a 50 mile?
Yep.
Is that how that is? And this was 50K, so obviously a little bit different course. Is Run Rabbit Run isn't an out and back, though, or is it? Doesn't it kind of go in a loop and then I
Yeah.
guess you go reverse on the loop? Sort
Something
of?
like that. Yeah.
kinda, yeah. This Continental Divide Trail Run 50K, a lot of people use that as like their last long training run for Run Rabbit Run. So Luke and I came from flatland country with very little running leading up to it, and only being at that elevation one other time in my life 9 years ago. And Luke coming from, he actually had a pretty decent 4-week training block, but even he said, I wish I would have had an 8-week span of that much effort to build up to that race. And so we were, near the back of the pack most of the time. And a lot of people there had said, we're using this as a training run for Run Rabbit Run. And this was, a big destination 50K race for us. But for a lot of people, that's just a training run, which is wild. But it was so much fun. It was so pretty.
9-hour cutoff. You guys are at the back of the pack at 8 hours and 11 minutes. Eric and I are like shaking our heads because I'm like, I don't know if I could run at 50K in a little over 8 hours. I mean, maybe I could. We'll see. But not climbing a mountain in the middle of it. I don't know. It seems crazy.
A lot of power hiking.
Would you do that race again?
I think so. I think I would do it again, and I think I would give it a proper training block to it and dedicate more training towards elevation. But going back to Run Rabbit Run, I mean, that's 3 weeks later, and you're really in fall in Colorado, whereas the weather during race week was, I think the Friday before it was 94.
Oh.
And the race day was 85, and it was hot, and you're at elevation, so think about it, you're a little closer to the sun, so the sun has more heat, but then the second you get out of the sun, the shade has more relief.
Yeah.
But once we come down the mountain and you're coming down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, all the green vegetation that was still very green and hadn't turned to really fall yet because it was 90 degrees, just kind of turned it into it wasn't humid, but you could feel the heat coming off the mountain rather than that cool mountain breeze that we had in the morning.
Did you get sunburn?
I did on my left side, specifically. Left side of my neck and back of my, actually Luke and I both had a pretty nice red line on the side of our.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was like, because it was cool out, I wasn't thinking about it. First I got done and Erin was like, with my race, and she's like, you're totally sunburned. I was like, I guess that makes sense. You're way up there, there's no clouds, sun, you're thin atmosphere.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to the rules anyways. Cool. And now Luke is coming down to run with you.
Yeah.
In a week.
Yeah, in a week from today. We're at Storm the Day in Winona. Sunrise to sunset. It'll be both of our first timed races.
Okay.
Where it's just a loop and you go out from you run for a certain time on the clock and see how far you can go. So.
Yep. We've talked about that one. A friend of the pod, Jason Reed, will be there as well.
Yeah.
It sounds like you and him and Luke will be duking it out for first place, huh?
I did reach out to him and told him that I'd reach out when the race day comes. But yeah, I think that'll be fun. We're gonna push each other, that's for sure.
Nice. Love it. Eric, should we do you next since you just...
No, let's do Mammoth.
Do you want to do Mammoth? All right.
Mammoth has more stories to it.
We'll talk about Mammoth. Now, I'm doing, and I don't know if I'll release this one first, or I'm doing just a Mammoth-only podcast with my thoughts on the trip out there, all the experience, a little bit about my race. We'll talk about more of it here, and then I did 4 little mini interviews while I was out there. But, okay, Mammoth, Mammoth was awesome. So, obviously, you've heard the story. I was planning to run it last year. Ricky got sick. Tim deferred me to this year. So I was able to come back, and I told him, I'm like, well, we'll drive out there with Ricky and Lexi. And of course, Ricky passed away 2 days after I talked to Tim. I'll get to that when I saw him, when we talked about that. But so we drove Lexi out there, and it is 17. The shortest route from Minneapolis to Mammoth Lakes is 1,776 miles. And so we were like, oh, okay. So we left on a Friday night. We just drove maybe as far as Omaha. And then the next night we drove into Colorado, stayed at Silverthorne. The next night we stayed across the border from Utah in Nevada, in a little town, Eli, just like Eli, Minnesota. And then the next day was a short drive from there to Mammoth Lakes. So yeah, so we threw Lexi in the car. She's a pretty good little traveler. We decided with just one dog, normally the two would sit in the back seat. We have little seat belts for them, little harnesses. They sit back there and they sleep, and you stop every couple of hours. Technical thing, we're not going to get rain, are we?
I felt a couple drops, but
I thought I felt a couple of drops.
So yeah, so the two dogs are pretty good little travelers. Oh yeah, rain is expected to start here pretty soon. Well, we'll see. We may have to take a short pause so our computer equipment doesn't get wet. Oh, yes, rain coming. But then it's done, maybe? Who knows? Anyways, well, we may have to pause this and restart. But so Lexi does really well. We decided on the way out that one of us would sit in the back seat with her. We'd take turns. One person would drive, and then we swap every 2 to 3 hours. And we like driving. It's fun seeing the country. I mean, we've driven through some of these areas before, but it's always like driving through Colorado, although the roads are terribly nerve-wracking sometimes through the mountain passes there. But Utah, just some incredible areas. Even Nevada was like so interesting. I've never driven through large chunks of Nevada, and just beautiful. And I love the mountains, so there's constant mountains. Once you get into Colorado, you're like above 6,000 feet until basically you get to Mammoth. We didn't get below 4,500 feet, I think, all the way to Mammoth once we got to Denver, which is interesting. And so drove out there. We got in there Monday, late Monday afternoon, checked into our little Verbo, which was awesome. It turned out to be in the Weston, which is, so Mammoth Lakes is this, little ski town. Mm-hmm. Not little, I mean, it's fairly good size. And most of their business is in the wintertime, but they have this little area in the middle of the town called the Village, and it looks, you've seen the photos that Mammoth Trail Fest has posted and that I posted. It's like this little ski town in the Alps. It's just really cool.
That was so cool.
The way it's designed. And I remember Tim saying that, he's like, it's kind of like UTMB, just the whole atmosphere and the setting. And our Verbo hotel is right next to that. Literally, we went out the door. A lot of people stayed at places that were miles away from the Village, so they had a ways to go. We literally walked out the door and we were right there. So it was so cool. I was just freaking out because, we see, I've been wanting to do this forever, and you see photos, and I walked down there and I'm just like, just got chills. It was so cool. So get down there Monday. Tuesday, I went for some little runs. I ran on the course Tuesday, kind of the back last 2 miles, took some videos. I had my drone with. I wanted to fly my drone in the days preceding the event to get some footage to, every good time, make a movie. And so I did the last 2 miles, and I'm like, oh, sweet. When I get to that point, it's like, it's this downhill. It's a mountain bike track. So it's like the curves are banked, and you're just, yes. I was just like tapering that week. So I was doing nothing, but I was flying 10-minute miles down there, just not even sweating. I was like, oh, no problem. Awesome. So I was super excited about that. The next day I posted on Strava and I messaged you guys. I tried to climb to the top of Dragon's Back Ascent, the top of Mammoth Mountain, the 11,000 foot mountain. And I had to stop. I got to a point where, with my poles, all my gear, my camera, my drone, that I was like, I gotta scramble over these rocks forward up the mountain. I don't think I can go backwards that way. During the race, it's fine because then you continue, or you take the gondola ride of shame down. Hint, hint. But
Is that foreshadowing?
yeah, foreshadowing. So I climbed up. What did I tell you guys? I got to about 10,500 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is all right. I wasn't out of breath. Of course, I was taking my time. I was taking hours up there videoing and flew the drone out. And then I drove by Lake Mary and flew the drone over there and got some good shots. But I was like, okay, I mean, it's going to be scary. It's going to be rough, but I think I can get up there. And overall, the course, I'm doing the 50K. So Mammoth Trail Fest, for those that don't know, is a series of races, and they've added a 200 miler this year, first year at the week following. But it's a DBA, Dragon's Back Ascent. That's their VK race. So you go 3 miles, basically 2,500 feet up. You get 2.5 hours to do that, which, as we were talking about, is interesting, right? Because during the 50K, you have a section where you have to climb 3,000 feet, 5 miles. Guess how much time you get that? 2.5 hours? No, getting an hour and a half. So we'll get to that. But so there's 3 races. There's that. And then on Sunday, there's the 26K, which here again, you go, I think, a total of 16 miles. You climb up Mount Mammoth. You always climb Mount Mammoth in all these races. But that one, you get 7 hours to go 15 miles, 16 miles.
Okay.
And you get more time to climb up the mountain. You get like 2 hours as opposed to an hour and a half to do that same stretch. So I'm like, why did I pick this race again? But you like the biggest challenge. I knew I wanted to experience as much of the trails as I could. And I think about 12 hours going 30 plus miles. Climbing is about between 6,000 and 7,000 feet. But I thought, well, you guys know, I thought, yeah, I could do this. My training, kind of like yours, Mario, wasn't great. But I had the 3 weeks beforehand, I was climbing a lot. I was going out to the Highland Ski Resort, just climbing up and down those ski slopes, up and down. On my treadmill, I was doing a simulated Mount Mammoth, gaining 1,500, 2,000 feet, a couple, 3 times a week. Just getting as much climb, and I felt great. I was like, wow. When on the way out there, we stopped and stayed in Silverthorne, Colorado, 8,800 feet, went for a little run, no problem. Next day we stayed in Ely, Nevada, 6,500 feet, went for like a 4-mile run, no problem. I'm like, oh, I might have something here. This is going to be easy. Turns out, we'll get there. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm doing my little scouting runs. Thursday morning is Mammoth Trail Fest starts. So that morning there's a shakeout run with Kraft. Kraft is the main sponsor. So, Tim Tollefson is there. I get there early. I'm like, I'm going to film some of this. And no sooner do I get there when this guy comes up to me and says, "You're Joey." And I'm like, what? It turns out it's Blake, who is a follower on Instagram, who listened to the podcast. So I should preface this. A day or two before I went out there, I did a little video clip of my interview with Tim Tollefson from the podcast. And to this point, it had maybe gotten 60 listens or something like that. And I put it out there because I thought, it's Mammoth Trail Fest week. I'm going to repost a little video I did, of my interview with Tim. And it's the one where he's talking about Mammoth is the people's UTMB. And I'm like, it really is. And so I posted that. Well, holy shit, Tim Tollefson reposts it. And I'm like, okay, game on. Sure enough, guys, within 24 hours, it had 3,000 views, which, for Taylor Swift, that's nothing. For Little Running Behind podcasts, that's over 10 times what I normally get, for the life of one of those videos. And so all these people are watching it, and now they're listening to that podcast. And one of them turns out to be Blake Borrego from Texas, and his girlfriend Alyssa, and they're both there. And so they spot me Thursday morning. They came over, we start chatting, and I'm like, okay, these guys are great. I remember telling my wife later, yeah, we're going to go hang out with some fans of the podcast. She's like, what? I'm like, nah, they're good. They're good folks. You'll like them. And you'll get to hear from both of them. I did little interviews with each of them.
Cool.
For the Mammoth, I'm going to call it Mammoth Trail Fest, the greatest show on trail. It's going to be the podcast dedicated to Mammoth. But so I meet up with them. Then I turn around and there is Ryan Thrower from Free Trail. I'm just like, we're starstruck. I'm sure most people will be like, who? I'm like, it's Ryan freaking Thrower. And so I said hi. I happen to have on my old homemade Free Trail hat before they sold gear. You guys have probably seen this hat. It's this orange hat.
I didn't know that was homemade. I've been trying to find that hat.
Yeah. Too funny. So I made that hat back in, I don't know when it was, 2022, before they were selling it in a year. They were selling, if you remember the Free Trail Pro member, you got these little patches. So I got the patch and I sewed it on the hat. And so I'm like, Ryan Thrower, and he's like, oh my God, can I get a picture of your hat? I'm gonna send it to my buddy Dylan. Sure.
My buddy Dylan.
I said, well, he knows that I knew who it was. And I'm like,
that's so cool.
I said, Devo might have actually seen this hat because he and I emailed when I first did a movie. I had this hat on, and I think he had commented on it in an email to me. So Ryan and I start chatting, just surreal, And he's like, so what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm a back of the packer, and I also do a podcast and a channel. I said, I kind of dedicated to normal people trying to do these things, not elite athletes, the back of the pack. I said, you guys have the front of the pack and the mid pack covered. And so he's like, oh, we might want to get some coverage of you. We're trying to do more of like these daily vlogs, and we want to do some coverage of the back of the pack. Do you mind if we interview you? And I had texted you guys. I'm like, guys, I'm getting interviewed by Ryan and Brett from Free Trail. And so I'm like, sure. So we do the shakeout run. And now, I'm best buddies with Ryan. I'm running by him, and we're, hey, how you doing? And all this. And I get done, and Brett, his accomplice at Free Trail, did an interview with me, and Ryan came in at the end. It was just like 2 minutes, just quickly, how you're doing. I don't think it ever got used anyplace. And they didn't follow me on course because I was probably too darn slow. But I mean, I don't know how they would, because they need to cover the people at the front, and there's only 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you guys, I know you think you're covering the back of the pack, but the real back of the pack is me, and I'm probably an hour or 2 behind where you're actually going to be at these aid stations and stuff. So, which is fine. It was totally fun and nice to get some recognition. But yeah, so the shakeout run is on Thursday. Do that. I'm meeting Ryan, Brett. I came back later in the day to shoes. We'll talk about shoes. I actually ended up buying a pair of craft shoes because I tried them for the shakeout run. They were like free to try.
Oh yeah.
And I did, 3 miles in them, and I was like, oh yeah, these are sweet. And the price I got on them was fantastic. I'll tell you about that. But so after the shakeout run later in the afternoon, you go and you get your bib and you hang out, and there's a whole how Twin Cities Marathon has when you get your bib, there's a whole expo. There's an expo there that goes all week long. Oh. So it's all these vendors. So it's craft, it's Lucky Poles. You can try out Lucky Poles for the 50K for free. And
that's so cool.
That's what Blake did. He just borrowed a pair from them for the whole 50K and then turned it back in. But so I went there for that, and like the opening ceremonies, Tim had this local lady who does this Hispanic Latin American dance troupe. It was really cool. And behind me the whole time is Billy Yang and Hillary. And so when it was done, I went over to him and I said, I apologize. I'm kind of fanning out, but I just wanted to say thank you. That, you're a big reason why myself and a lot of us are here. I told him, I said, I didn't start running till I turned 50. And of course, I get emotional. I'm just like, your films really inspired me to, try this. And I said, I'm a back of the packer. I usually finish last, quite literally, in a lot of these things, but I try and then I think I had a Ricky shirt on, so he asked me about Ricky. And then I started, getting a little emotional. And he stops and he goes, "Can I hug you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so I got a nice picture with him, and Hillary was there, and it was just so awesome. I told him, I said, if I get a chance, after the race, I'll do a quick 2-minute interview for the pod. Well, never really happened, but that's fine. But he was just, everyone is so freaking nice.
Yeah.
And Tim too. I saw Tim on Thursday and went up to him. Of course, immediately he saw me, he gave me a hug. He said, "How are you doing?" And then he asked about Ricky. I told him the story, and I started crying, and he started crying, and he gave me another hug. And it was just so sweet. But these people are like, they're real people. And Aaron got to meet some of them. And I think even Aaron was just like impressed with everybody. And she was already like, "We're coming back. We're not driving, but we're coming back." and secret. I don't know if she's going to listen to this episode or not, but she goes, "I might do the 26K." And I'm like, "Yeah, the comeback starts now." But yeah, so she had a great time. The area was great. The whole atmosphere, guys, it's just this festival for a week. I don't know if it was like that for Continental Divide, but the fact that there's these races every day and they have big media coverage that run steep, they have their own like van.
Mm-hmm.
Jamil was there hanging out. He came in like third in the 10K race, but it was just so cool. And the fact that it was the first year of the Mammoth 200, you had a bunch of people rolling in for that as well. So you guys know Callie Vinson from Instagram. I don't know if you follow her or not. She is a back of the packer. I should get her on the podcast. But she has like probably 100,000 Instagram followers.
Oh, okay.
She started running to lose weight. I think she was much heavier at one point in her life. And she's just kind of this real person, but she's really good at social media and documenting her journeys and travels. And like everybody likes and follows her stuff. She was there. She was in the craft booth helping them. Or the Goo. She was with Goo. She represents Goo. So yeah, it was a total blast. So that's that. So then the races start Friday morning. They start, the first race is the Dragon's Back Ascent. And you've got all these world-class vertical racers there. And then just normal people doing it. Like I said, you've got 2.5 hours. It starts at 7 a.m. They give you actually they bumped it up because of the rain till 8 a.m. You had till 10:30 to get up to the top. And basically 3 miles straight up Mount Mammoth. And that climb is not for the faint of heart. I'm like, and it was raining. It was pouring rain. It was cold at the top of the mountain. I went up there to film the last finishers because I thought, well, this is what I need to do. I'm a back of the pack guy. I don't need to go up there for the beginning. So Aaron and I had breakfast, took care of Lexi, did our stuff, went for a walk. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the gondola up and film the last finishers, get up there about 10 hour or whenever it was, 10:15 or something as the last finishers were coming in. And I got to the top and it was 35 degrees, wind blowing 50 miles an hour sideways, raining, cloudy. And I'm like, how are these people climbing this mountain? Because some of the rocks are slippery.
Yeah.
It's not a, little single track. There's very few sections of it. The rest is scrambling over rocks where you don't know where the path is unless you see a flag. You're like, I think I scramble over these rocks to get to that little rock pile. And, there's sections that you can navigate. So I get to the top and I'm filming the last, somebody says there's like 8 more people coming up. And so I'm filming them. Tim's at the top, of course. He's got the world's largest cowbell. This thing is the size of that cooler that I've got down there. It's awesome. And he's like, and he's so positive and he's encouraging people. And I don't know if Ryan and Brett were up there filming. Somebody was. Aravipa was there the whole time.
Okay.
Run Steep. They were doing all the filming as well. And let me talk about the winners first. So Aaron and I in the morning were watching the live feed of the winners. So I'm like, I just want to watch them on the live feed. I want to be up there for them. The winning guy, was it Ryan Hall maybe? I think he won the 50K and the DVA. Got up to the top of the mountain. What do you guys think? Did you watch? Did you follow?
No, I didn't watch. I've seen like the first 50 yards of the start. It's kind of like stone stairs almost.
Yeah.
Leaving that aid station during the 50K, but
Yeah,
I
the
didn't get to
start's
see
easy.
the no, I didn't
You
see.
got to get about a mile into it before you go. Holy crap.
I'll say 39 minutes.
Eric?
43 miles.
3
How much
miles.
time?
It's about 2,600 feet of climbing.
Yeah, 36, 30.
Yeah, he's under 35 minutes. Just missed his own record. He came in first. The first female came in, I want to say, 4th or 5th place. She was amazing. The second place female, guys, was a 12-year-old girl from, is it Ecuador?
I saw that.
From a South American country.
Yeah.
12 years old. And there's all kinds of pictures of her. And I guess she ran it last year. It
Really?
was like top 10. I'm like, what in the world? How is that even possible? It's like crazy. And they're running up. I remember watching video of them running up, and the next day when I'm climbing it, I'm like, they ran this section. I can barely breathe. I don't even understand that. But
That's wild.
so I got up to the top, and then I hear what is the last person, and so I start filming her, and it's taking her forever to come this last little quarter mile, and then up to the finish line, which is like this mound of dirt on the top, which is the actual peak. And the word is trickling to me. I'm filming her. Her name is Margie, and she's 81 years old. And Tim's having to encourage her like every step to get her to the top. And I'm filming this. I'm crying. Like everybody there filming, cheering, we're crying. She's fucking 81 years old. And we're just like, but she's got a grin on. But she's working really hard. She finishes. And it's about, I don't know, it's maybe 10 minutes past the cutoff, but it doesn't matter. I mean, for that race, you get to the top, you get your.
Yeah.
Another reason why I want to do it next year, because it's like, if I'm 13 minutes late, I'm still getting a medal.
Still getting the medal.
I might have to, tell them I'm 81 years old, but I'm still getting a medal. So Margie gets done. She's with her daughter. Her daughter, I guess, was going with her and had stepped aside to film her, so I didn't realize she was actually finishing with her. And I'm talking to her afterwards. I'm like, just amazing. I'm like, hey, do you have time? I've got my camera and some little wireless microphones that hook into my camera. Can I do a quick little interview for my podcast? And she's like, sure. So we sit down and chat, and I posted a little clip on Instagram, and it'll be in my Mammoth podcast. But Margie is just absolutely freaking delightful. She is 81 years old. I'm like, have you ever done this before? No. Do you hike? Do you walk? No, I've been sitting on the couch since COVID. I've literally been sitting on the couch. She's like, I walk maybe once a month to some charitable thing that she does. I'm like, what? And I'm looking at her daughter. She's like, yeah, it's all mental attitude.
Oh.
She's like, I'm like, have you ever climbed up, been this high? No, I live in San Diego. I live at sea level. I'm like, what in the world? She's like, it was a little scary because it was windy and cold and wet, and I have no poles. We had some they had some snacks they packed and hydration pack with some water in it. I'm like, what in the world? And then I did an interview with her daughter as well, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was just like, you could not make this up. It was.
I have no excuses now.
Right? No excuses. Oh yeah, we're hearing thunder. We have to pause this for a sec. But so yeah, I filmed that. Just feeling great. Go back, enjoy the rest of the day. That night was the opening ceremonies, and that was no, that wasn't the opening ceremony. Sorry, I forget what happened that night. I think I just stayed in, ate some food, got all my stuff ready. You know how that is the day before a race. Just getting everything ready, camera gear, all of that. I didn't have my drone. I just had my GoPro, essentially my DJI action camera. But I got everything ready, and then the race. So, get up feeling great. Get down, like I said, it was so great because the start line was in the village. I literally had 100 yards to go from our apartment to the start line. I'm like, this is so wonderful. What do you think?
We might want to make moves with the thunder.
All right, we're going to pause this. now that the rain stopped, we've decided to not chance it. We're in our waterproof outdoor studio under the gazebo, as we were saying. Erik Walker, well, I'll get back to my Mammoth story. Erik Walker is a fantastic runner, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, you heard the podcast. I don't know if you've met him in person.
No, but I follow him on Strava.
Mm-hmm.
So, Erik, he's done the 10 mile out at Trout Stream. What do they call it?
Trout Brook.
Brook Trout or Trout Brook. So the 10 mile race out there. He and I did that together. He's done that a couple times. Yeah, last year he almost did it again this year. Last year came in third. And other than for tripping and scuffing up his knee, he could have probably won that race. Like the dude, he's just a good runner.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to run more trails, and he's built for trails. I mean, he can run those things like no problem.
Yeah.
He talked about the hills. If he trained on hills, dude's an athlete. He could totally get it done because he's very consistent. He runs every day. He did that 3 miles every day for a year, obviously. But I mean, you guys see his Strava. He's just boom, 6 mile run, 6 mile run, 4 mile run. He's just consistent. Loves to run. He just loves to run. So we'll get back to him. Let me finish my story. I have more to talk about Erik and upcoming races and myself. So where was I? My race, 50K race, Mammoth. All right, I'm going to leave some of these details for the Mammoth podcast, but I want to hit the highlights here. So get up, feeling good, right next to the start line, get down there. I meet Blake and Alyssa and this other person I met, Susan Wan. Susan's from California. And we're all hanging out at the start line. We're all in the second wave because we're all kind of like, I told them, I'm going to be 11 plus hours. Blake thinks he's going to be 9 to 10. Alyssa's not running it. I'm sorry. She's just there to support Blake. She's doing the 26K the next day. Susan Wan is there. She hasn't run in a while. She's like, I don't know. She ends up finishing like 8 some hours. Crazy. 9 hours, I think. Absolutely nuts. We're all there, and I meet another YouTube guy. We're chatting. The live stream comes right by us. I don't know if you were watching the live stream, but there's a shot right before the start where I'm right there with Blake and Susan, and we're screaming. And it starts, and just like you were saying, everybody takes off running. And literally the first 2 miles is pavement, but it's all uphill. It's 500, 600 foot climb uphill, and it's on pavement. Everybody's just running, and I'm like, run 20 steps, walk 20 steps. I'm like, I cannot start out running this. I absolutely can. This isn't even a climb. This is just, the driveway to get up to the dirt. And what it does, similar, Mario, to Steamboat Springs, it's a ski resort. So they run you up to one of the ski hills, and then you kind of run down, and then you go up this whole, 1,500 foot climb to the top, and then you come down to the first aid station. And everybody's running, and I'm like, nope, not going to do it. So right away, I'm in the second wave, and 2 miles in, I'm in the back. I'm looking behind me, and I'm like, 4 people, and then the sweeps. Yep, that sounds about right. But I'm feeling good. No problems. I've got my typical, spinal stuff. I'm trying to stretch out my legs. My calves are a little numb, but doing okay. My spine's a little numb, but it's loosening up. And I'm jogging on the downhills. And we get to the first climb, and I'm committed to film. I've got to make a film of this. So I've got my action camera, my DJI action camera. And vest is all sorted out, and I'll show you guys what I modified my new Salomon vest. I took needle and thread to it. I'm making it'll get published soon. I'm making a how-to video on how to add a separate pocket to it, because the old Salomon vest always had a tiny little pocket at the top, enough to fit something about that big, and it was stretchy.
Yeah,
perfect size for a drone. I can reach in with one hand, pull a drone out, put it back in there. I'm like, oh, that'd be nice to have. So I added that pocket, ended up putting all of my gels and hydration powder mixes in that. So when I get to an aid station, instead of me dumping everything on the freaking ground and going, where's my fucking iPhone? I'm like, here you go. So fill my bottle. So
with all your added on pocket, what is it? Just one big, like that big triangle pocket they're kind of doing now?
So what they have now is, they have 2 pockets, but it's all under the zipper. So you have to unzip the big zipper. It's the big pocket, and there's a little pocket within that. But normally in the old vest, you had that you could reach with your hand. You didn't have to unzip anything. It was just stretchy, like Lycra or whatever. You could just reach in there and grab it from the top, pull it out, reach it, and put it back in there.
So I have a really
so handy.
I have a really old Salomon vest, and mine has a big stretchy pocket. So it goes like shoulders down to mid back.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that's kind of in the lumbar area.
Okay.
And that they got away from that design, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Because I would shove extra water bottles in there and then like jackets or whatever up top, and you can still reach all of it. But your new vest just has the triangle pocket, right?
Mine does have a like bottom loop pocket that does go all the way through. So the ADV5 is the vest that I got, and that was another new piece of gear for my race.
Yep.
Is that I opted to buy a new vest rather than trying to see what I could fit in my old Osprey vest.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking before the podcast recording started about the cost of all of these, and maybe it was in the last podcast, the cost of running gear.
Yeah.
And my wife Claire made a good point. She goes, the last vest you bought you used for 5 years.
Yeah.
And you ran it into the ground, so you might as well spend. So I got the Salomon ADV5, and mine has that big stretchy pocket.
Yeah.
Because I was able to put a rain jacket in the back, and you couldn't even tell that I had
the old ADV5, which I have, my blue one, had 2 of those. So it had it had the big one.
Yep.
And then outside of that is a smaller one, like a little mini pocket. But it would stretch.
There are 2 big pockets, and the outside one stretches.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that small top one like you were talking about to add to. That would be really nice.
That's kind of one of the complaints. Everyone, Salomon does a great job. I love their products.
I love my vest.
I mean,
my vest is from 2018, and I'm still using it.
And I'm somebody who likes stuff. And actually, I ordered mine from some website in China. I had to wait 3 weeks, but I got it for like 60% of the retail cost. And I'm like, that's fine. I wasn't in a rush. I ordered it, a while ago. But I do love their products. The quiver they make is so handy. And like, I made that video on how to attach that quiver to other non-Salomon vests, but their vests are great. It's just, they're a really good product. So anyway, so everything's great. I am like dialed in, feeling good. I've got my nutrition right where I can get at it. Didn't bring sunscreen. Should have done that. It's the only thing I didn't do. And I'm at the very back of the pack. And we get off the pavement, we go down, and we're ready to climb whatever it is, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet for this first climb up to the ski, one of the ski runs. And get out my Lecky poles, got the gloves on, lock those things in, and I start climbing, and I'm like, well, let's see, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I'm passing people left and right, and I'm just feeling like, oh, this is effortless. This is easy. I was not even breathing that hard. I was slowing down because I was like so amazed at the views. I would stop and get my phone out, get my action camera out. I'm filming. I'm chatting. I'm like, if I would have focused, I probably passed 20 people on that climb, and I got up to the top of it, and this lady, her name is Julie. She and I are recording a podcast on Thursday, but she goes, "Are you Joey from Running Behind?" I'm like, I'm so famous, guys. And so we start chatting. She had saw on Instagram the Tim Tollefson repost of the clip. So she had listened to the podcast, the whole podcast. So we start chatting. She's a back of the packer. Interesting story about her. Like I said, I'm doing a podcast with her. We were the 2 people who got timed out at the top of the mountain. Besides there was a couple stragglers after us, but she missed by 6 minutes. I missed by 15. So that you'll hear that on an upcoming podcast. But she was great. We chatted, and then I met a guy named Mark. Mark is 57 years old. Sound familiar? And he's got a great, beard, and we just start chatting. He's like us guys. He does these things. He's doing the Chicago Marathon, but he's not super fast. He's right there, middle of the pack, back of the pack, and he's just out here to have fun. And we just chatted. I ran with him till that third aid station right before the climb up.
Does he work at Amazon?
Mark?
Yeah.
He lives in Indiana.
Okay, not the Mark I was thinking of. Never mind.
Auctioneer. So I friended him on Instagram and on Strava too. So if you go to my Strava stuff, you'll see him in my list of friends.
There's a guy who works for Amazon that helps with photography for like Air Vipe and stuff named Mark Griffith.
Oh, okay.
And he's got a big beard as well. So I thought maybe it was him.
No. So Mark and I, so that I don't want to say it slowed me down, but we took our time. I said, here's my strategy today on the big climbs. I'm going to push for every 100 to 200 feet of elevation gain. I'm going to stop for 30 to 60 seconds to catch my breath and then keep going. That was my whole strategy. It was working great. And he was right there with me for pretty much the whole time. But then I was stopping to film, chatting with other people, taking photography. I didn't take my time at aid stations, but I didn't rush through them. I could have gone faster. I took 2 aid station bathroom breaks. In hindsight, I was like, there's my 13 minutes right there. I mean, kind of had to be done, but still at the same point, it's like, could I have waited? Probably. But so anyways, so my day's going along great. I'm just like every mile we go down the trail, you get a view that you just go, this is not real. And what planet am I on? This is why we do this, for these amazing views, for this stunning scenery. And everything's going well. The first aid station, we drop into, we're 20 minutes ahead of cutoff, ahead of the sweeps. Next aid station, I am about 35, 40 minutes and took a bathroom break. So Mark got out ahead of me on that one. And then the aid station before the climb up the mountain, I'm over an hour ahead of cutoffs. And I'm like, okay, all right. So now I've got, when I left there, I had about 2 hours to get up to the top of the mountain, which is 5 miles, 3,000 feet of climbing. You actually go down, up and down, and then you go up the mountain. And I was 13 minutes too slow. And the climb up the mountain was tricky, but I could have pushed harder. At one point, I was going to sit down and started to get lightheaded, probably because of the altitude. But overall, I probably could have pushed harder. But it was a little scary. I'm scared of heights, and there are some real treacherous scrambles over rocks where you didn't know where the path was other than the flag. It's like, oh, there's a flag somewhere over those boulders I got to scramble to. So there was some of that really slowed me down. And it's all exposed. So I went through, I had 3 bottles. So I had 1.5 liters of water and scratch and I went through all of it, every drop. I went through all of my goose. Here's another interesting thing. So we were talking about a lot of the races we do, the trail races, we just eat at the aid stations. They had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and then lots of goose. But I was like hoping that like for some pancakes and bacon or something.
Like potato chips,
some quesadillas. They had potato chips, but it's like I really thrive on like just stopping and having some bacon and quesadillas or whatever they might have. They didn't have any of that except at the top of the mountain. They had a full cafe style, and I was like, God dang it, that's the one I missed. So I had a great day. I got to the top and they told me I was 13 minutes too late. And Julie was up there, who I had met earlier. She's yelling at me. She's like, I was 6 minutes late. And so we chatted a little bit. And then we ended up connecting on Instagram. And I'm going to interview her because I think this is her 3rd attempt or 4th attempt. And then she went back and volunteered for the whole week at Mammoth 200 and she ran an aid station. Wow. So I'm going to get her story with that and some of her other stories to talk about. But had a great day, but I was disappointed. I know everyone was very encouraging, and I got 18 miles, 5,100 feet of climbing. It took me 7 hours and 13 minutes. It have taken me the 6 hours and 57 minutes. So I had a couple minutes to eat a pancake. And you get down the mountain, because it was all downhill, guys. It was all literally almost all downhill from there. I know there was another 1,000 feet of climbing, but that's over 15 miles. And it's very subtle. It's nothing like what I did. I could have easily clicked that off in not 3 hours, but probably under 4. Could have easily clicked that off under 4 because I felt great. I told my wife when I got home, I was like, I literally have no aches, no pains. I could do a 50K tomorrow if I had to without a sore muscle. Nothing. I had cramping. Mario, you mentioned cramping. I got it in my fingers. Occasionally my fingers. And I would like take extra sips of my electrolytes and then eventually it would go away. But I had to really, even though I wasn't that thirsty, really keep sipping on the electrolytes. Otherwise, the tips of my fingers are getting cramps. And then it was hard to use the poles when they were cramping up. So
knowing what you know now, would you push a little bit harder to get to the top?
Yep. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do next year. Okay. Erin loved it. She, like I said, she was even talking about maybe doing the 26K, the 10K or something. I don't know. We'll see. But so the 26K, the race they do the next day, we didn't stay around for it. We had to leave the next morning. But I watched it. The 26K is maybe 15 miles, 14 miles. It is only about 3,000 feet of climbing. You climb Mammoth Mountain, but like 3 miles into it, you do that. So, and you get a lot longer to climb up the mountain. So the cutoff at the top of the mountain is halfway through that race, which is 3.5 hours, and which relative to the 50K is so much more time, which is odd, right? You think a longer race, you would get longer cutoffs for each of those stations because you're not going to go as fast as you would. Nope, exactly the opposite. You get a lot longer time on the 26K. The whole race, you get 7 hours to go those 15 miles. Think about this. In 7 hours, I climbed 5,100 feet, went 18.5 miles. I did that in basically 7 hours. I would have been 3 miles and 2,000 feet more than the entire 26K in that time period. So how would I not easily finish that?
Are the cutoffs determined by Tim or determined by permits? Do you know? Because like your cutoffs were based off permits because of the remoteness and the ski resort and whatever.
So they have permits. I think a lot of it is, and I don't blame them. On the 50K, you start at 7 a.m. That's when the sun comes up. You have to be done at 7 p.m. That's when the sun goes down. So I think a lot of it is timing and safety. They don't want people running in the dark.
Yeah.
And that big aid station at the top of the mountain, it takes so much work to get that thing set up. There's a road that goes up there and there's tons of volunteers. I'm like, I get it. I just wish, like I said, I don't want them to extend the overall race cutoff. I don't think you need it. But if they could bump the top of the mountain to a half hour or an hour out and then, shorten up some of the other cutoffs after that, I think that would be better. But I don't know. It's fine. Next year, so I said, I'm going to sign up for all three, I think.
Do they have a name for that trifecta, if you will, of races?
Yeah. Let's...
Because like Wild Duluth has the Wild Man, Wild Woman challenge. And then they have the ultimate.
The Woolly Mammoth.
Is that what they call it?
No,
I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I like that though. That's what they should call it.
Yeah.
You don't think the Dragon's Back Ascent will take it out of you too much? You think you have enough time that you can just go easy? Yeah.
Because I basically did the Dragon's Back Ascent the day before my race.
Yeah.
I did 3/4 of it. I was out there for at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Mario and I got together and ran the day that you were running, and we had texted a little bit the week before, and he sent us pictures, which were literally, it looked like they were AI generated. But
yeah,
you were kind of nervous about the climb and the cutoff, and I had told Mario I thought you had it no problem.
Yeah.
You're so good at just moving forward. Like even at Afton, like on a not great day, you're just so good at just moving forward. And I was like, I think he's worried for nothing. And then you're like, I missed it by 13 minutes. I was like, oh no.
And I mean, this year I did not finish because I pulled myself out of a race. I was under cutoffs at Zumbro. I mean, I could have pushed hard but my knee, I don't know if my knee would have allowed it, but yeah, I'm really good at just continuing. And if I don't have a cutoff, I would have easily finished that race. I would have finished that race running. I have no doubt I would have been running at the end of that race. Just literally, just timing wise, where it's like the toughest section of it, I was 13 minutes too slow.
Yeah.
As soon as they told me that, within 5 minutes, I had my breath back and I was like, I'm ready to go. And like, I asked him, I said, do I have to take the gondola down? Can I just run down just for exercise? No, you can't. For safety or whatever.
Well, like even the picture you sent at the top of the mountain, like you don't look like
no, it wasn't. By the time I got to the top there, I was like, I wasn't out of breath. I wasn't anything. I was like, is the aid station still open? Nope, shut down. Okay. So, is what it is. Next year, I sign up for all 3. Definitely going to do the Dragon's Back Ascent because it's just fun. It's just like, and that one you get 2.5 hours, and I know even if I'm a little late, like Margie, I'll get a medal.
Yeah.
The 26K, that one's easy peasy. So why wouldn't I sign up for that? But the back of my mind is like, nah, I've got to lick that one now.
Yeah.
It's like, remember, Seth Ruling at Western States?
Yeah.
Because he didn't win, he's like, damn it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I kind of got to
You had a day where you
I'll talk about it more with Julie. I want to know what her thoughts are because, like I said, she's tried this several times and she came up 6 minutes short. I came up 13. So, but we left on Sunday. The next day, drove back in 3 days, and it was a great drive back. Drove back through Utah, saw some parts of Utah we hadn't seen before, and yeah, it was fun. Anxious to go back next year.
Then what did you do when you got home?
When we got home, I went back to work for 2 days, and then we found a little guy who needed to be rescued, a little Cocker Spaniel. He's actually has some Cavalier in him, we were told. We've been looking, and we actually have been fostering a dog and looked at a lot of dogs, trying to find a sibling for Lexi and somebody to. No one will ever replace Ricky. Guys, I almost cry every day. Like, I look at the new dog and I just miss Ricky. He just was so special. But somebody for Lexi, somebody for us to kind of complete our family. And ended up finding this place in Maryland, of all places, that rescues Cocker Spaniels from puppy mills. That's what they do. And so they don't get a lot of them in, but they got a little guy in, and 6.5 years old, or almost 7. He'll be 7 in December. And he lived in a puppy mill in a small cage with no human interactions. Peed and had to live and sleep in his own pee and poop every day of his life. He was all disheveled, scared to death. And they brought him in and rescued him. And he'd been living at this vet clinic out in Maryland, in Westminster. And I reached out, and they're like, yeah, we only rescue 2 people that live within 8 hours of the site. And I said, well, here's our story. I mean, our previous dog was very similar. Came from a puppy mill, 4.5 years in Missouri in a small cage. And, we gave him the best life, and we are mourning him every day. And so we interviewed and talked. They're like, yep, you guys are the right parents. I said, great. So we got back here 2 days. Late Thursday night, we hopped on a plane to Maryland, rented a car, picked up our little guy, Howie, and we drove him back. And he's just the cutest little thing. You guys met him today. This is a dog that was living in his own shit 24/7, and now he's the happiest. His tail doesn't stop wagging.
If you would have told me that, and if I hadn't known that story, and then I met him today, never would have guessed that. He's the happiest little guy.
And he does remind us so much of Ricky. He has a little bit of his coloring, his sweet personality, where he just loves human touch. He just can't get enough. And like at night, or we'll sit on the couch and cuddle, he just can't get enough. So yeah, so that's what we did. We got back, but yeah. and I'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about Erik's day today, and then we'll talk about future plans and a little bit more on Storm of the Day and what I'm thinking of doing and what Erik is not thinking of doing. So, Erik, so that was my experience, Mammoth. Like I said, I'll have a few more details on my Mammoth podcast, but tell me about. Let's start with the race that didn't happen.
So yeah, the same day that Mario was supposed to. Did run Continental Divide. I was supposed to do the Mindy Creek Half Marathon. The day after we did Afton, or 2 days after, I think Afton was a Saturday, I had been working from home the whole month of June, and I went back to work, like in the office, and then had a 1-month-old at home, had a toddler at home. I just kind of didn't prioritize running for many weeks. So it got to the Saturday of Mindy Creek, and I was just like, I could go finish. Like, the cutoffs were generous, and I still had some residual fitness, but I was like, I don't want to go walk through the woods for 4 hours. And so like we had a nice family day. I think we went to the zoo or something, and it was a good time, and I just ended up not running the race.
Yeah.
And then never buckled back down on training. So since Afton on July 5th, prior to today, I'd run 41 miles of training.
Okay.
And then, so
is that a mile a day? That's
half a mile a day.
Half a mile a day. That's still something. It's not nothing. It's more than you did in March when you went and ran a 50K.
Yeah.
You've still done more 50Ks this year than me.
So, then, I don't know. In September, I buckled down a little bit. Still, my highest week was 9 miles. Then last weekend, Mario and I went out and did a 5-mile run walk at Lake Mariah. Actually, we went and did a Lake Mariah loop, and then ran the Twin Cities 10 mile a day, 20 minutes slower than I've ever run it. But it's I love that race. It's so beautiful at the start when you kind of drop down by the river in Minneapolis, and then you get up onto Summit. And by Summit, I was in a tougher spot. Like, I knew I was going to finish, but I was feeling it. But the vibes are so great. And it was a good day. Yeah, had fun.
Yeah.
Tried out some new shoes. Had a good time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your shoes. We're going to do a little gear section here at the very end. I've got a couple pieces I want to talk about. Mario's always got gear he wants to talk about. So do you. So what do you think next, or are you done for the year? Is your season done? Is that it?
Yeah, I'm done racing for the year, but I'm going to try and my plan is to do some kind of Storm the Park race. I haven't really decided how hard I want to train in the winter. So yeah, I think it's April 18th. So I'll do anywhere from the 15K up to the 50K. Haven't really decided yet.
Okay.
And then, that'll be my next thing. So.
All right. Did we hear how Courtney finished today? Is anybody?
I just know that she finished. I don't know what her.
I haven't heard anything. Yeah. No, I
told you guys as I was watching the race as we were testing this morning, and Erik was running. Kid from Iowa won it. It was so fun. Care 11 had live coverage, which I just absolutely loved. You have to go to care11.com, but they were live streaming at all of runs, Mountain Outpost. And this kid from Iowa, he's running with another guy, and he gets up by the cathedral, probably about a half mile before the cathedral, and somebody in the crowd said something, and he goes, yeah. And he just took off. It was like, oh, because he was looking pretty rough at that point. But he just took off, and he just crushed it. I don't know what he got done, 220 or 215 or something like that, but pretty awesome.
It's crazy.
Isn't it crazy? 215? Yeah. You see that, like, the coverage, like, when you texted, like, you had started or you were getting ready to start, and the marathon starts, and, like, the next time I checked, they're already around all the lakes. They're already 10 miles in,
that
like,
pace.
What?
Today, I did a short trail run today, and there was a downhill section, and I just I've always said, just take what the trail gives you. So if it's the downhill section and you're feeling good, just send it. So I sent it, and I looked down at my watch, and what I felt like sprinting was at a 5:25 pace. And then I thought, there is no way humanly possible that I could maintain this pace for 26 miles. That's just unreal, but good for them.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Erik, I don't think I've ever seen anything on my watch start with a 5. I'm going to unplug this wind chime here, by the way.
Maybe if it's like 40% grade downhill.
I don't even think then. I think last year I was doing some strides, and I think a 7 maybe started, like a 6:56 popped up there, just out of fluke.
But that feeling is so fleeting to be able to maintain that speed, that leg turnover, and the power you have to. First of all, I'm not built that way to be able to maintain that type of foot turnover with that power output. But two, that's so hard. I don't enjoy sprinting that fast. I enjoy going downhill and then slowing down when the hill comes back up. But I couldn't imagine running that fast for that long.
Erik, you said the guy who won the 10 mile was running 4.5 minute miles.
Yeah, he won it in like 46, 44 or something. I was
4.5 minute miles, guys.
I wasn't even halfway through the race yet.
I felt vindicated though when we finished the race in Colorado though that I think Luke was last in his age group, and I'm pretty sure I was last or second to last in my age group. But yeah, because we were and I didn't feel like I was behind or slow by any means. It was just a very,
crazy.
A different type of race, different type of event.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're taking a quick break because Erik is going to the bathroom. He's using the porta potty that is in my driveway for the kitchen construction. I offered the bathroom inside the house, but as Mario reminded me, he is in the construction business, so this is what he's used to.
He's also an opportunistic runner, and when you see a big blue porta potty,
and this was clean, guys. This is the cleanest Jiffy John.
It's no public. It's no public porta potty. Public John.
No. You know where the best outdoor outhouses are? Canada, in Banff.
Yeah.
We went to Banff National Park, and there was a couple other times in Canada where we had to use an outhouse. Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't know what kind of technology they use, but they smell like mountain fresh air.
They're cleaner than
a whistle.
restaurants.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I had made the same observation when we were in Banff in 2019, that the public facilities were very clean.
Erik, that's going to be on the podcast. I said on the podcast, I have a perfectly good bathroom inside, but Erik being in the construction business, he's using the porta potty in my driveway.
Hey, it was very clean.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Is it not one of the cleanest
porta potty?
It's pretty good. Well, it doesn't get used much. There's not a lot of workers on site.
See? I was just trying to help them get their money's worth.
Exactly. All right, so I want to get to, some plans for next year, some thoughts on a couple of recent trail running events across the world. Erik, you mentioned something about next year. You said no more 50Ks, and then you texted me and said, "Think I can do the 50K at Storm the Park?" What's the deal for next year?
I don't know.
Or not?
Maybe.
It's a lot of training commitment.
A lot of training commitment, which I'm hesitant to do, but I also have, particularly the back half of this year, I've struggled to get excited about kind of mid-distance running, we'll call it.
Okay.
Like Mindy Creek, I was kind of excited for, and then that kind of fizzled out. And the 10 mile, I just didn't have that stoke to really commit the time to it. Whereas 50K is you have to. They're scary enough for me that you can't go into them undertrained. I went into Buffalo Run pretty undertrained, but 6 weeks before that I had run a 50K. Yeah. So I still had some residual fitness. And even there I tapered off by that's my slowest 50K, but I knew I at least had current data that I could finish it.
Yeah. I'm the only one at this table who will not complete a 50K this year.
There's still time.
You still got time.
Surf the Murph.
All right, so Surf the Murph, you mentioned it. I got back thinking, not that I was in phenomenal shape, but like I said, on the climbs, other than Mammoth Mountain Scramble, try to avoid your death and catch your breath. On the other climbs, guys, I had my poles out, and I had worked with my poles enough where I was watching people you don't get it. You got to do this. Use your arms. But I felt really good on the climbs, and I had no cramping, little in my fingers. I had no aches, pains. I had my cardio. I was ready to run. After 7 hours, I was like, dude, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting warmed up. And so I'm like, I want to do something, but I can't do Storm of the Day. The only thing I can do is Surf the Murph, which is October 18th in 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, 2 weeks. So I'm thinking about signing up for the marathon.
Okay.
Which is one lap, because I was like, one lap? Shit, I just did one lap. That's 18 miles, and it's, why don't I do a marathon? Because it's 18, it's one lap and then a little extra, and I'll feel like I got my money's worth. 26 miles and some fun.
Go 5 miles more.
Do 2 laps for the 50K?
50K.
Yeah, I would, but Erin's gone that day, so the dogs will be by themselves. I'm going to probably have her sister come over and check in on them. I just don't, we all talk about, the three of us talk about this all the time. Time is precious, and we've got a new dog that we love. It's like, it's not the same level as your children, but for us, it's children. It's like having a newborn baby, and I literally want to spend time with him and Lexi, and so, when Erin's not here, I get all the attention from the dog. So I don't want to give up that much time, and I want to get out or get my ass in gear and do some training, but I want to get out there and get under 6 hours and get this thing done. I've done a lap of that thing in under 4 hours. So I'm like, yeah, I want to do this under 6 hours. I want to have a marathon time that starts with a 5. How cool would that be? Trail marathon starts with a 5. So I think that's what I'm going to do. They allow pacers. If you guys are bored, you want to come run 5 miles and you're bored and check out, Murphy Hanrahan, just saying, throwing it out there. But that is cool. I mean, next year or something, if any of us do anything at Surf the Murph, because they do 50 mile, 50K, marathon.
Did they get rid of the 100-mile option? I don't feel like I haven't seen that race back in a while.
Not that I have seen in the last
It used to be every other year, and I haven't seen it in the results recently.
Probably a lot to support that, but
for sure.
Mile.
Okay.
And the cutoffs are very generous if you look at the time you have to do it. So yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to sign up for it. Eric Walker texted me and said, "Hey, what about Surf the Murph?" And I said, "You're reading my mind, buddy. Let's go. Let's do the marathon." And he thinks that's too far for him to go. I'm like,
oh, no, it's not.
You'd finish 2 hours before me. It's a 4-hour commitment for you.
You'd be fine.
But maybe he'll do the one loop, the 30K or 25K, whatever they call it out there. So we'll see. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my poles. Get some pole work in on some of those hills.
Those hills are, they're not anything to glance over.
There's death by 1,000 cuts, and then there's about 6 of them that are, if it gets slippery and muddy, you need poles. Literally, they are so steep. They're not like climbing up the mountain, but they are so steep, and if they get slippery and muddy,
so loose,
you need poles to get up them. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. Mario, what do you got on the docket? Storm the day.
Storm the day on October 11th.
Yep.
And that's kind of that's the last race for the year, if you will. I wasn't really planning on. I don't know what race I'm going to do next year, or what races I'm going to do. I really want to do fans 24-hour.
You do?
I do. I wanted to do it this year.
I'm doing that.
I do. I was going to mention that today, that I know you were going to do.
There's somebody sitting in between us that we need to get.
And what's so cool about fans, or what I liked about fans, is even on the website, they say if you wanted to
put it on a trail and make it not a continuous loop, then maybe.
He has a hard time doing loops out at Montissippi Park, kind of by where I live. It's like a 1 mile loop, and we usually end up doing one loop, and then we'll mix up the loops. We do it a little different ways, and sometimes we'll do like an out and back on something, so we're not doing the same.
It's a different mindset. I put myself in a different. I don't like doing loops either. I love. Superior 100 in Western States, those are the ultimate. They're point to point, so you're always seeing something different. But fans is something different. I put myself in a different mindset. I was just out there to have fun. I said, I'm going to walk around, just see what I can do. And I love stopping every lap, and I changed shoes about 4 times. I had 4 different pairs of shoes I put on, and that kept me fresh. I had I had like a pound of bacon that I had baked up the day before. I was nibbling on. It's just so nice to be your own pit stop, and
And it's a short loop too.
Yep.
So I would like to do fans next year.
Okay.
You had mentioned, will you ever go back and do that race again? I asked my brother Luke after we did the race that night. We were just kind of, relaxing and talking about the day. And he asked, I asked him, do you want to come back? or do you want to do a different fall race? I was really hoping he was going to say, I'd like to do another. This was really fun, but I'd like to come back and do another race later in the fall when it's not 90 degrees.
Like Run Rabbit Run, 50 mile.
That's kind of where I was trying to lead him. I was trying to guide him there, and I hope he's listening to this episode so he can hear it.
So he can correct his mistake.
Yeah, correct his mistake. He said, I want to come back and do it again, but he didn't have a very good training block. He had a good short training block. He would like to dedicate like a full 8 or 12 week training block to that race and see what you can do and see how much faster you can improve upon this year, having this year kind of being your base level to improve from. And I agree with him, because I also had a far less than optimal training block going into that race, and I'd like to give it a real go. And not that I wasn't fit, but I didn't have that time on feet. In the sense of wearing my running shoes and all my gear, and now I know what to expect going into that race. So I do think I'd like to do it again sometime. So maybe we'll do that race or another Colorado race next year.
Okay.
But I have this thing it seems like every 3 years I go back to Wild Duluth.
Okay.
And I'd really like to tackle the 100K out there. That's kind of the one race from that series that I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that, but I know we're coming up into. I've been running it for 8 years now, and I've always been enamored by the 100-mile distance, and I'd love to give that a go. And I think the fans race would be a cool way to try to attain that in less than 24 hours.
That's what Dave says. He's like, people that want to do 100 miles, they should come out and try to get it in the 24-hour race.
And I'm excited for Storm the Day because it's a good timed format for me to kind of see what that's like. I've never done a timed format race. I've always done your traditional ultra 50Ks, where it's either a loop or it's a point-to-point. But I've never done a timed race, so that'll be different, another different format that will help. So that's kind of on the docket, is maybe possibly fans, possibly a Colorado race. Maybe we'll do Continental Divide Trail Run again, my brother and I out in Colorado, and then some type of fall race. But Erik has been mentioning Storm the Park, and I think that'd be really fun for the three of us to do some distance of that race. I think that'd be a cool one. Or fans. I'm
going to do fans. So. I'm going to do fans 24-hour for sure.
Okay.
I want to. I just, even if, I don't know. I think it'd be a good way for me to try to pace myself. And like I said, I'd love to get 60 miles or 75 miles or something, see what I can do over the course of a day. It'd be fun. Storm the Park. Talk about Storm the Park. I would love to go back to Storm the Park.
Never been.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a nice early season race.
Yep.
With, Bill and Mandy don't really do cutoffs and whatever. Still want to respect their time.
That's why 50K down there is so doable, because there's no cutoffs.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the guy that's taking 14 hours to do a 50K. But I'm kind of leaning towards, I think they have a 15K and then a 35K option as well. Kind of looking at those.
Yeah, the 35K is the one I did. I think that's 2 laps. I'd have to look and see what the course is now. It's maybe different from when I did it. But I think I did the 35K, which was like 17, 18 miles, 2,300. I mean, there's some climbing. The day I did it was so muddy. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was trying to film. I had my phone on this goofy gimbal. The gimbal broke, and I was just having a hell of a day. Well, you guys saw the video I made from that, and Bill still gives me crap about that, because I was like, this is harder than the Grand Canyon. But it is beautiful out there, and it's just so well done by Bill and Mandy. I'd love to go back. Not the 50K though, huh?
I don't know. I got to see what I do in the next couple months here. If I can get stuff back on track where I get something kind of going by January, and then I can put in, I do 16 weeks, then it wouldn't be an issue. But
I do think I'm done with summer races though. With the heat and humidity, and even with like that 100-mile week that I've been chasing, I will get that 100-mile week, but I'm not gonna do it in the end of June, early July. No, it just with all the other things that I enjoy doing, I love to run, but I also love my life outside of running and my job and all that. So in order to have a good balance, I don't want to dedicate it during the dark of night when there isn't much dark in the summertime. And then even the summer, when it cools down, it doesn't really get cold until the morning hours. So you got to get up. I don't know. I'll get it, but it'll come at a more appropriate time of year for Minnesota summers, because I'm so sick of Minnesota summer running.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it.
First week of October, and it was 91 degrees yesterday, or whatever it was.
The thing is, like where Mario and I live, it gets so buggy on the trails that it's like our parks aren't really runnable. And like you had mentioned, I texted you guys. I think I love trail running. Yeah. I don't know that I love running. I like going out and going to Lake Mariah and going to Bertram and all kind of the parks near us, the refuge up by me. But when it's so buggy that I can't run there, I can't run the same 3 mile sections of trail all week for training runs. I can't do it on the roads. It's just not fun. No. I also run on county roads and almost get hit by cars every 3 minutes, so that's not that fun. No.
I am pretty fortunate to have, I don't have sidewalks in my neighborhood, but I have a big 10-foot wide pathway that's 30 feet off the highway, kind of winds through the trees, and so I have runnable, accessible places that I can run safely. And then you mentioned gear. I wear that Knox gear vest every single run that I go on, and I've gotten a lot of comments on it lately. Somebody told me this week I look like an alien running with because I changed the light to light blue color, so it kind of glows like I thought you were an alien at first. I'm pretty sure they were walking back from the local Legion or something,
or the local dispensary, one of the two.
I don't know if there is one in town, but now that it is legal, I'm sure that there'll be some of those as well. It's just one of those things. I'm very fortunate to have safe running trails to run on, or running pathways.
I just wish I told Aaron this today. I wish we had mountains here. I just love. I love getting to the top of things and seeing those views. I love beautiful trails and lakes and forests. That's all wonderful, but nothing like climbing to the top of the mountain. So, yeah. I think I'm going to do I did a lot of highland, ski hill climbing before Mammoth, and I'm going to do that next year, in the summer, as soon as I'm allowed to get on those slopes when they shut down. I'm getting out there. I'm just going to climb for 2,000 feet up and down those stupid hills. Who cares about running? My routine is climb on the treadmill. When I go to work, there's a little 2-mile loop I do on my lunch hour when I have time. That'll be my running. The rest of the time, I'm going to climb. I don't care about running. Climbing, hiking, power hiking. That's what's going to get me through these long races, not the running. I'm never going to be a fast runner, so.
One thing that I had mentioned to Luke in preparation for Continental Divide Trail Run, and even for this timed race that we're doing next week, is that I've been intentionally walking a lot during my runs. My overall pace has been much slower. Yep. I've been running at 9.5, 8.5, 9-minute pace in between, but I've been intentionally practice my walking to my transition, so from running to walking, and then from walking back to running, because I feel like that's an undertrained part of ultra marathons, and everyone walks at some point during these runs, but we don't practice that transition. And that takes a lot of muscle that you don't typically fire. You're not typically going from running to walking to running to walking. So being able to transition back and forth, that's something I've been practicing. Whether or not it'll pay off or not. It is making me slower. My runs are slower, and I don't feel like I'm covering the mileage that I used to in the time I used to, but that's not important to me. Comparison is the thief of joy. So if I'm comparing myself to my fastest self, when I'm not trying to set any personal records for speed, it's all about, we've talked a lot about on this podcast, the seasons of life that we're in, and I'm not in one of those fast seasons right now. Maybe I'll never be.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if my faster days are behind me or ahead of me. I have no idea. I don't care. So next year, maybe the three of us do Storm the Park.
That would be fun.
Then I think loosely right now, I would like to go to Fire Tower 50K.
Yeah.
And go try and get a sub 8 hour 50K done. I think
that would be my goal if there's sub 850.
Because I think if I put in a good training block,
I've never
I can
done
do
that
it.
race before.
It's awesome.
I've heard that from you
so
and from a lot of different
It's a really well run event, and that park's pretty cool.
Yeah, so me next year, Storm in the Park is intriguing. Zumbro, I don't know if I do the 50K, but I feel like I need some redemption there. The other thing is, guys, okay, here's the thing. I didn't get into Lavaredo, did you?
No.
I
never, so I have 2 UTMB accounts.
Yeah.
And it never synced them together, so I never had enough points to register. Because you needed a 25K qualifier, which Afton is. So I had the qualifier, but it wouldn't make my accounts let me pre-register for that.
So I am debating if I do Zumbro just to get a qualifier to register for Lavaredo 50K, because after like the second year or every year you register that you don't get in, you get a better chance of getting in on that lottery for Lavaredo. So we'll see. I may do Zumbro just to get a qualifier in there. I suppose I could do. I'm not doing Afton. Nope.
No.
Not happening. Maybe a Superior Spring.
That's a fun one.
It is a fun one.
I like that. I like that trail a lot.
Yeah, it is great. But the 24-hour fans going back to Mammoth. I know that. I think I will sign up for all 3 races.
Okay.
Maybe that's a challenge. Not just getting redemption on the 50K. Do the flipping.
Do it all.
Here's the thing. Do the Dragon's Back Ascent. I can do that, no problem. Take me a couple hours, get up that mountain, get my thing, get ready the next day, do the 50K. If I get caught off and I'm still feeling good, I got redemption the next day.
Yep.
So I'm going to sign up for all 3. We'll see what Aaron wants to do. So I'll do that. Fire Tower, it might be good. It might be a good year to go back and do some of these races I've done before, like the Fire Tower 50K. Or I've looked at the 100K up there. That's what Jason did. But that's not a super generous cutoff.
No, the 50K is pretty attainable.
50K is great. Yeah.
And I think it's 12 hours.
I think it's 12 hours for the 100K.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and you have to climb a fire tower twice?
nah, I have to climb it.
At least once. And then there's a vertigo option where you don't have to, but technically you're supposed to climb the fire tower twice.
Because I think about the 100K, 12 hours?
I think that's what it is. It's like
I can't do
like
that
10
50K
for the 50K and then 12 for the 100K.
That's tight.
So I would go back and do the 50K with you. That's just a fun day.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely so much fun. And then I don't know what else for next year.
It's a flat trail 50K. I was thinking about this week on a run. Is that when I race, I think I've only done one actual trail race where I felt like I raced and I ran as fast as I could for when I could, and that was in 2021 when I did Wild Duluth, and I think I did it in like 6:23 or something.
I took 4th at the Fire Tower 11K one year.
Did you really?
4th or 3rd,
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
That's so cool.
I'd had really good, I had run like 145 or something at the Twin Cities 10 mile, and I bounced back really well. Like I was running again Monday, and I was like, I have some fitness, I want to go do something. And Fire Tower is only like 30 minutes from my house, or 45 minutes. So I was like, I'm just going to jump in this. I hadn't really heard of it before. I went there, took 4th, and then they'd like hand you like a bag of swag. You got a path hat.
I remember you telling me
a medal, a buff, a hat. I'm like, this is crazy.
Nice.
I'm coming every year.
There you go.
I look fast and I get swag.
And I forgot, I'm pacing at Cocodona 250 next year.
Oh, yeah, that little thing.
That little thing? Yeah, that little thing. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I don't know.
Well, Joe, if you do surf the Murph, I'd probably come out and pace you.
A week after you do Storm of the Day?
Yeah, why not?
We'll see how you recover from that. Because he's gunning for the lead, guys. He's gunning for the lead. Gunning for number 1. You and Luke and Jason, I'd like to see all 3 of you tie for first place.
Luke's a tough SOB. I wouldn't bet against him, honestly.
Really?
I mean, and I don't know. I don't know if I've told Luke's story. I think he'd be a cool person to have on your podcast, just because he's got a crazy story of his. He never really ran, and then he was in this accident that that completely changed the direction of his life, right? And so now he has run, I think, 3 marathons. He does the Spartan obstacle course events. He's done that for the last, I think, 2-3 years. And then now he's done a 50K. And I was telling you guys before we started recording that there's a live photo of us coming through the finish and us running down the hill. And I was dealing with quad cramps and leg cramps, but he was fresh. His stride was really, I mean, you couldn't tell that he just ran 30 miles. So he's a tough, even though he hasn't been training much, I think he'll be up to the task.
I'm excited to hear how that goes.
I'm excited to run it, and I'm excited to do a Bill and Mandy race, really.
Yeah.
When I signed up for that, I was really excited just to do one of their races.
They're great. They will have halfway through the day, but they will have a full spread lunch for you, sandwiches and salads and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's so well done, and it's just so relaxed. When I ran it, I was having bathroom issues every lap. Every 2 miles, I had to stop and go to the bathroom. That's always kind of my, that's the thing that brings me down, is going to the bathroom. That's what happens as you get older. But, yeah, you're just going to love it. You're going to love it. So, excited to hear about the experience. Should we talk some gear, guys, before we wrap up?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I've got some new gear things to talk about. First off, I got to say, at Mammoth Trail Fest, I mean, it was just so brilliant. Craft, I've always loved them. I've always loved their stuff. I haven't been able to find their shoes in a lot of the shoe stores around here, so it's always hard to... I know, Eric, you're great at this, just ordering something off the interweb. And, yeah, it's going to be great. I ordered it. It'll be fine. I like to try stuff out and see if it fits my feet and all that. So, but it was so cool that they were out there and they were like, for that shakeout run, yeah, just try a pair of shoes. So I tried on the Explorer Pros, I think they're called. They're called a gravel shoe. But they are super comfortable. I have a little bit wider feet. They're not as wide as a Topo or an Ultra, but they're very stretchy, yet they hug your feet. And they have this super cushioning, and they've got like not carbon, but like what would you call that? A TPU plate in it. And so they've got this spring, and I'm like, oh, I want to get these broken in enough, because with my feet are a little bit wider, I just want to break them in a little, and then I think I'm going to be running 4-minute miles in these, baby. But they're super comfortable. So I've been wearing these, running a little bit in these, love them. During the race, and I said this before, those Lecky poles, oh man, they were a game changer. Like I said, that first big climb up that ski hill, I was passing people left and right, and those Lecky poles were really helping me do that. They were great. Love the new Solomon vest. I'll show you guys before you leave, but I added that little pocket to it. That worked out great to put all my fuel in. What else did gear-wise? Think about the new watch worked great. Like I was telling you, I've got the whatever one I have, the Pace Pro or something. Yeah. I ran 7 hours with GPS. I've done a bunch of other GPS. It lasted like almost 3 weeks before I had to recharge it. It's just insane. Works so great. Love it. Those are my gear updates. Eric ran in a brand new pair of shoes today. He ordered off the interweb, never seen them, threw them on his feet this morning, and he blazed through 10 miles at the Twin City 10 mile. So how were they? What are they?
I got the Mount to Coast H1s. So they'd been on my radar when Jamil Curry did the Strava challenge.
Yeah.
He had gotten a test wear pair. And same thing, he threw them on his feet and put 600 miles on them in a month, and he was getting like pretty beat up, and he talked about, he's like, I just kept going back to them. He's like, I tried super shoes, I tried whatever, and he's like, I just kept going back to these. And they were like still in really good shape for 600 miles in less than 30 days. And so I was like, And so I've kind of been waiting for them to come out. Well, they happened to come out October 1st. So I ordered them. And by some miracle, they arrived yesterday. So I was like, well, no time to test them out, but let's give them a run on the 10 mile, and they were great. I loved them. They have some basically a super foam. It's an EVA PIVA blend, and the foam's great. They have an adjustable toe box, so they have a dual lacing system. So like from the bottom to like midway up the foot is like a quick lace drawstring kind of thing, and then the top eyelets are a traditional shoelace. So the whole thing is, Mount Coast's whole thing is like ultra running, whether it's road, so they have their R1 and they have the T1 for trails, and now this H1's their road to trail shoe. And so their whole thought is tighten it up when you start. As your foot swells, you should be able to adjust it.
Yeah.
And so it's all adjustable, and like you can really dial it in. And I didn't have to use that today, but the lockdown is great. The foam's great. I have wider feet, but not so wide that I won't run in traditional shoes, but they were very roomy and good. I really liked them.
Wow.
And honestly, I was telling you guys, but when you don't run a lot, like the bottom of your feet kind of gets soft. And so I had some bottom of the foot pain when I was done, but other than that, like my legs aren't beat up, and for very little training and just going to do a 10 miler,
what's your shoe level inventory at these days?
Pretty low. I had to throw away some Cliftons. I'm down to, and the Nordas I retired.
Down to a couple of pair?
I have my North Face Vectus Endurus whatever.
Yeah.
That I ran in all my whatever. So I have those. I have some Hoka Carbon X3 or Mach X3s, 2s, I think, and then my H1s. So it's pretty low.
That's it?
Yeah. And then I have my treadmill shoes are down to just another pair of those Nike Invincible 3s.
You said the Nordas? You got the...
I'm done with them.
Done with them.
They're still in like good shape. I just wear them around for like yard work and stuff now.
Oh,
They rubbed my Achilles just too much, and I thought it would go away, and it never went away.
Okay. All right. And I don't know if we mentioned at the top of the pod, but Erik ran in a running behind kit today, basically. Mm-hmm. He's got the running behind shirt on, and he rode in the running behind shirt during the race. Love it.
Oh, I also have to make a formal apology.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, I'd said I would never run in a vest again, and I ran in a vest during a road race today. But it turns out, when it's a hot day, having extra storage for water bottles is
and they
not
don't have ice at the aid stations. Hello, road running races. Come on, get your shit together. Too funny. Mario, what do you got for gear updates?
So I shouldn't even say an update because, well, maybe it is, because since the last time we recorded, I've gotten a new vest. I have the Salomon ADV5.
Yep.
I had the Osprey Duro 1.5 for like 5, maybe almost 6 years.
Yeah.
I'd had that vest, and I was trying to find ways to fit all my stuff during training runs, and the zipper had finally broken, so I broke down and invested in a quality vest. Yeah. So I have the Salomon ADV5, and during the race, it was so new, I didn't really know all the different adjustments and strings and tensioners on it, and I really, really like that thing. It can carry so much, yet when I'm wearing it and I'm just wearing the vest and it's holding my phone and a few electrolytes or a couple of packs of fruit snacks or gels, it's so comfortable. So yeah, that's kind of the newest piece of gear. Yeah. But I don't really have anything new since we last talked other than a brand new vest. And then not really gear related, but nutrition wise, I tried the Precision 30-gram gels during this last race I did, and I love those things. They're perfect for what I need them for. So those are my new go-to gels, are the Precision.
I'm sticking with my Goo, and Goo was one of the sponsors, and so they had every flavor at the aid stations except for the flavor I used. And so I did try some of these other flavors, and it pays to just stick with. I'm like, you know what? From now on, as I thought about that, I'm like, well, I'll pack less Goos because they have all these Goos. Well, they didn't have I've got the caramel mocha, and it's like, something about that works for me.
I don't know what it is. The chocolate, the caffeine, it's just the right amount. And I tried these other ones, and I was like, when you're climbing up to 11,000 feet and all you've got is some goofy flavored goo, it's like, it's probably cost me 13 minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, guys. I'm gonna call it. The rain's starting to fall down again. So, one of my recorders shut off. Don't know if that's bad or good. I think it's still recording. Anyways, sounds good. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
Yep. Crew Access Volume 4, Boulder Boys style. Well, I hope you guys didn't mind the audio too much, but it was too much fun to get together live in person with Erik and Mario and record that episode. And I certainly hope to have the guys back on before the year ends. And don't forget to tune in to the next episode. I've got a special guest, someone I met out at Mammoth. You won't want to miss that one. So, until next time, take care, cheers, keep running, keep walking, keep moving. It doesn't matter how fast you complete that 50K or that 10-mile race, or even if you miss the cutoff, you will cross that finish line.